Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ReelQuick, episode 180. I am sat here alongside my beautiful co-hosts, Mr. Cam Walsh, 27, and Mr. Tyler C. Whitmore. We got a fun draft for you. We're keeping the Halloween theme going. If you guys haven't seen our Halloween special, we dropped that like 3 days ago on Monday, so make sure to go check that out. We're keeping the horror Halloween theme going with this draft, but we're going to do scariest non-horror movies. So we're gonna kind of play around with it and kind of see what we pull. Letterboxd genres are all over the place. So this should be fun. Shout out to Connor Connaughton for the recommendation. Shout out to all of our patrons for keeping us active. If you guys want to take a look at what we have to offer on Patreon, we got the links in the description below. Go check it out. We got a really fun community, and you'll also be able to recommend us draft ideas, ranking ideas. Tomorrow we will be dropping a patron exclusive review of A Nightmare on Elm Street. So if you want to be able to hear our thoughts more in depth on that film, check out the Patreon. But we are going to start with our scariest non-horror movies draft. Cam, you have the first pick.
Yeah, I don't really know. So I think I'm going to go a lot back to like my childhood and movies that may have scared me like as a child and they don't anymore. So I think for the first pick, I'm going to go with Nightmare on Elm Street. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I
The crazy.
So you just said Nightmare on Elm Street, and then I put it in my head, and then it came out as a word. Sorry, not that.
I just finished. I was fact checking, googling. That is a horror.
It is for sure.
No, that's definitely a horror. I'm gonna go with The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay,
my mistake.
Better.
Yeah, my mistake.
Oh, that was so funny.
I wonder if like horror is like Before Christmas. I wonder if horror was
it might be
as a I'm not counting. That is not a horror. It's a animation fantasy on Letterboxd, and Letterboxd gives anything it can any rating. I was terrified of it as a kid. I didn't watch it like until Emma showed me it, or I didn't watch it again until Emma showed me it like senior year of college, and now I love it. It's fantastic. But hated it as a kid.
I could say the same exact thing for the pick I was going to pick, but that is listed as a horror on Letterboxd, which is Coraline. But literally, replace the words.
Fuck.
I'm not picking it because it's listed as a horror on Letterboxd. So but we're straying away from it.
I would give it to you because I don't think that's such a weird movie to be listed as horror on Letterboxd, and we know Letterboxd horror movies can be stingy. Like if you didn't pull Coraline, I was gonna take it, or at least ask to take it.
But Coraline. Same, like just swap the word Nightmare Before Christmas and swap Cam for me, and that's the same thing with Coraline. Like I only watched it as a kid, didn't care for it, scared the hell out of me, but never really cared to revisit it. Didn't watch it again until Riley showed me it because Riley loves it, and huge fan. Like probably my favorite animated movie ever now. Coraline all time like gets re-released every 3 months in theaters movie. So shout out Coraline for just somehow just breaking the box office hacks. Some movies are struck. Clint Eastwood can't even get into theaters for 1 weekend, and Coraline's getting in there every three months. So shout out Coraline.
Coraline's living that James Cameron dream and just re-releasing things just for box office numbers. And I still have not seen that movie in years because of how much it used to fuck me up as a kid.
I respect it.
All right, back to back. I'm going same route as you guys. Movies that messed me up as a child. So the first one that came to mind was Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. That movie.
I did not like that movie when I was a kid. I still don't.
I remember the first time I ever watched that movie. I don't even know how old I was, but I remember my mom coming into my room and being like, "Why are you all like tucked under your bed covers?" And I'm like, "I'm watching Pan's Labyrinth," and she's like. And I remember this so clearly. She's like, "Is that a Peter Pan movie?" I was like, No, not even close. All right, second pick. I'm going to go more recent release. Honestly, I was a little surprised that this isn't labeled as horror on Letterboxd. It's labeled as mystery, drama, fantasy, thriller. And that's Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Nice.
That movie. It's more disturbing than like horror, but it still fucked me up for a few days. That movie is
No, I agree because I'm such a horror wuss, or especially was the time this came out. And I remember the trailer specifically like made it seem like it was going to be a lot scarier. That because I love that movie now. I watched it, but I remember seeing the trailer. I was like, I'm not going to watch this Netflix movie because it looks scary. I'm not in the mood for that. But no, it definitely didn't end up being a horror. But yeah, it's definitely I get where the scary comes from. Oh God, back to me.
I have a pick that might need some questioning.
There's a lot of ways I could go here. Like there's the movie that's not a horror, but it's scary as a kid. There's movies that are stereotypically scary that are not horror. And then there's movies that like aren't like they don't scare you, but like the subject matter they talk about is scary. So like that's also like scary. So like there's like three different avenues.
That's what I thought for I Saw the TV Glow. I really didn't think it was like that movie was scary, but it was because of the subject matter. But I didn't think that was
right. But that one is weird because it always was listed as a horror. Like I didn't go into it being a horror movie. So
I really didn't know that.
But
maybe I'm just being stupid.
I'm gonna go with. We'll go with a subject matter scary movie, and I'm going to go The Father because that movie just makes me terrified of like me or anyone in my family like losing their mind. And the way it plays out is kind of like a horror movie for Anthony Hopkins. But I'm going to go with The Father.
Nice.
That's a good pick.
Next, not really a horror, not really anything scary in this other than just like the idea of it. So this is a scary idea of losing your kid or your kid getting taken. So I'm going to go with Prisoners because there's a little bit of horror element in there, like here and there, but just the idea of like someone taking Bailey, that's horrifying to me.
That would suck.
Yeah. And a movie that didn't necessarily scare me as a kid, but definitely has some horror elements in there. I'm going to go with Jurassic Park 3. So like when they're in the bird cage, that shit's scary, man. When like there's a moment where like they're panning the camera and then you're looking at the pterodactyl like head on, and that shit's spooky, man. That shit'll get you. But yeah, Jurassic Park 3, kind of a spook.
All right, you know what? Let's see if any of you can guess this. You know what the all-time like movie for kids, but like with the craziest jump scare ever.
Oh, hold on. Is it animated?
No, it's from the 80s.
Movie for kids from the 80s. When the hell did E.T. come out?
That's a good pull. I think it was around that time, but
maybe
Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, was never gonna pull that one. I'll admit.
Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure, the Large Marge scene. Craziest jump scare ever. Have you seen that movie and you're listening, which I know a lot of you have? Crazy. I remember I watched it at daycare when I was like a young pup. Scarred me for life. Like, what's going on with it? It's like just like a happy like Pee-wee going on a little journey on his bike, and then all of a sudden he meets a hitchhiker semi-driver who ends up just her eyes pop out of her head and scare the shit out of him. I'm like, this is just not cool, man. But Pee-wee Herman.
I respect that pick a whole lot.
That shit was not funny.
No.
Having back-to-backs on this is tough because I just spent the whole like turnaround trying to find one movie. All right, hear me out. What are we thinking on M. Night Shyamalan's Signs?
I think that's horror. Or is it listed as horror?
It's listed as horror, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's horror. I think this aliens coming to Earth. Like I think that's horror.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say it's horror.
I thought that was more science fiction drama.
But I mean, maybe, but I would say it's horror, and then like defaulting to what its genre is, it's horror. So yeah. I think we got to go horror.
All right, fine. Then all right, I'm gonna take Moon, starring Sam Rockwell. That is a science fiction drama about. Again, this is subject matter scary because it's about a dude losing his mind, being alone in space for months on end.
Yeah.
Which probably frightening.
I've not heard of this movie.
Yeah, you should watch it.
But like every one of my mutuals is like logged in, so like maybe I'm just
so
like,
good.
Clueless.
It's very good. I highly recommend it. It's very. No, I was going to compare it to Ad Astra, but honestly, that's just comparing two slow movies that take place in space.
Benedict Wong isn't, dude. He's in every space movie.
Everything, dude. Everything.
Every space movie. Well, yeah, everything. But he's in Sunshine. He's in The Martian. Annihilation, which is like space adjacent. Dude needs to stay on planet Earth.
All right, my next pick. I'm actually surprised I'm getting this in the 4th round. I'm surprised no one took this early. I'm going to go David Fincher's Zodiac. That is not listed as a horror. I really thought that was listed as a horror movie.
That does have some spooky elements.
Well, there's that basement scene that everyone says is like the scariest non-horror movie scene out there, which is probably true. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
no, I agree. When I asked the Discord for some suggestions on what movies they would pick, Zodiac was a popular choice.
Whoa! You out here using our Discord?
Yeah, because me and Seth are the only ones who ever use it, so I'm gonna use my advantage.
That's crazy. I didn't know we were cheating through Discord. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, none of my picks were picked from them because I was more so just like curious because I wanted the Discord to go as far away from horror as possible because everyone like when they say like what's a scary non-horror movie they think like thriller's their first thought, which makes a lot of sense. But I'm like, what's like just you don't even think about it being a horror. But we'll see if anyone shouts out Pee-wee, but no one said that in the Discord, so we'll see if anyone is a fan of that. But my 4th pick, I'm going to go.
I feel like we're missing some obvious things.
Oh, we definitely are. And none of the lists online to like jog my brain are really that helpful.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm ready.
Damn, I feel like we're missing so much stuff, but I'll just go with Requiem for a Dream, just because personally never been a drug user, but watching that movie made me think like, am I going to get addicted to drugs and ruin my life? Even though nothing in my mind would ever lead me to think that would happen, but watching that movie was scary enough to be like, I'm going to terrified it's going to happen to me.
I'm really actually screwed if you guys don't give me my 5th pick, but for my 4th pick, I'll go with Donnie Darko just because that fucking bunny thing spooks me, man.
Is that not a horror movie? I haven't seen it.
No, it's not. It's
not. Yeah, certainly not horror.
It's got some spooky elements, mostly just because that bunny is spooky. And then lastly, I'm cheating a little bit, but I'm counting it because I was smart enough to think this way. I'm going to go with Haunting of Hill House because it's a horror TV show.
Dude.
No, it's not a movie. It's not a movie. And,
yeah, but it's horror.
But it's not a movie. Horror. That's crazy.
That's not crazy.
It's not horror movies.
No, you're not getting that.
You're trying to play the system right now. That's crazy.
All right. Lastly, then I guess I don't think this is a horror. No way. Let me look at the genre. No, it's not. Let's go with 7. Just because
that's not listed as a horror movie.
No, it's a crime mystery thriller, and I don't think it's really even got that many horror like moments in it.
I feel like 7 and Zodiac are pretty equivalent.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking more subject matter scary.
Yeah, that loses points for me because it's got Creepo in it, but it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
My final pick, I'll go Uncut Gems. You know, anxiety filled.
Oh,
that scares me, man, dude. Like the thought of the first time you win a big parlay in your life, you just get shot in the head. Nothing's just more tragic and terrifying thought. The one time you get a mega nuke max parlay, it just ends you. But honestly, just like even the non-gambling related, just like the thought of just like how finances are so crazy in life. Like once you become an adult, they just hits you like a bus. And it's like they can like even if you don't gamble, just like normal life, like it can run away from you so fast and become like a hole that's just like impossible to get out of. Like stuff with the house going wrong, and then like say your car breaks down at the same time, and you get laid off from your job, and it's like all this stuff can just happen. It's like just ruin you financially. So I was kind of thinking like Office Space as well, just thinking about just like corporate life and movies that are just like show how much of a bummer it is to be an adult, man. But George, your final pick.
Damn, that was deep. How do I follow that up? All right. A part of me, I'm not. This is not my pick, but I wanted to pick Parasite because the scene of the dude's head rising from the stairs like genuinely fucked me up the first time I watched
saw that on
movie.
a lot of lists.
Yeah, but like that's the only part of the movie that really scared me. What I was gonna say is I'm shocked none of us went the war direction. So I'm gonna take Come and See as my final pick. I feel like we would have
loved to pick that if I'd seen it, but I feel like that's like a perfect pick because like a war pick is a great pick, and like that from what everyone says, like the best pick for it.
Could have gone with Apocalypse Now too. I feel like that has some frightening, especially when we meet Marlon Brando. Like that shit gets scary.
No, agreed.
You're definitely right.
But all right, Scariest. I don't even know. Do you guys have any honorable mentions? A lot of lists that had.
I could have thrown out a lot.
Enemy.
I could have thrown out a lot from like my childhood.
I was trying to think of like Disney Channel original movies that scared me as a kid.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But like Halloween Town didn't do it for me.
Halloween Town was spooky. The Mask was spooky.
Oh, The Mask was spooky.
Twitches. Do you remember Twitches? That spooked me.
Beetlejuice is pretty popular on a lot of lists. Like movies that scared people as a kid.
Yeah, I bet. I would almost argue all those are probably listed as a horror. Maybe we could go like
I think Beetlejuice would be
Coraline like route, but I bet all those are listed.
What really scared me as a kid was Peter Jackson's King Kong. So much so that we had the DVD in my house, and I was scared to even look at the cover. That's how fucked that movie was when I was like 7 years old. I don't know.
Shutter Island scared me a lot as a kid.
Yeah. But is Shutter Island not listed as horror?
It probably is though, because like I remember when I actually finally like watched it as an adult and wasn't scared. Like I was like, oh, there actually are like a good amount of jump scares. And, like whenever they're in the asylum, there's just people jumping out left and right.
Yeah.
So it's got to be listed as horror.
If we had guest on the pod, Sammy J Reacts, Spider-Man 1 and 2 would have been picked for sure. And if Seth were here, I feel like he would have squeezed like Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive into this.
Yeah, I saw Mulholland Drive on a couple of lists, and I haven't seen Lost Highway, so I can't speak to that.
Like, I don't think either of them are scary, but I think they have scary elements.
Mulholland Drive's got that weird trash man that's creepy. Random ghoul behind the diner.
But also, you could throw in like even some John Carpenter. Like, I don't think is Escape from New York technically. No, Escape from New York's action science fiction on Letterboxd kind of got some scary elements. Same thing with Big Trouble in Little China. What is that? That's considered comedy, fantasy, action. I mean,
well, that's why this draft is so like interesting because like I said at the beginning, there's like three avenues you can think about this. It's like, what's a movie from your childhood that like if you watched an adult wouldn't have scared you as a kid did? What's a movie that genuinely like has a scary element to it, but is not a horror? And then what are movies that like the idea of the movie, like I could throw in like thinking about that avenue, I could be like, oh, like After Sun, scary movie. Just thinking about losing a loved one or something, or yourself. And it's just like there's different ways you can think about like what constitutes scary but not being horror.
I mean, if we did this draft when I was 14 years old, Goblet of Fire might have been my first pick just for that third act alone.
I mean, Chamber of Secrets scare me as a kid too. That snake thing.
Chamber of Secrets, dude, those movies could be scary for little kids. I just watched Goblet of Fire like 2 weeks ago, and that third act fucked me up.
Yeah, great third act, man. One of the best.
The blood of what does he say in that moment? The flesh of a loyal servant, the blood of the enemy. You shall be reborn, my dark lord. All right, well, that is going to wrap up our scariest non-horror movie draft. Cam took A Nightmare Before Christmas, Prisoners, Jurassic Park 3, Donnie Darko, and David Fincher's 7. Tyler took Coraline, The Father, Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure, Requiem for a Dream, and Uncut Gems. And I, myself, George, took Pan's Labyrinth, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, Moon, Zodiac, and Come and See in the 5 spot. That'll wrap up Real Quick episode 180. Shout out to Connor Connaughton. We will see all of our patrons tomorrow for a patron exclusive review of A Nightmare, Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. And then we will see the rest of you on Monday for ReelTok episode 112.
Peace.